Time for more money with Matt Moore and Jay Money. So before beating the Celtics, the Bucks had lost 4 in a row to some of the worst teams in the league. How much trouble are they in now, Jay, with Giannis out?
None whatsoever, in my opinion. This is the regular season, and nothing really matters until the playoffs. The players know that, the coaches know that as well. Giannis knows that as well. I think he'll be back in round one. I've seen this movie before as well. He probably comes back game two. I wouldn't be surprised if he was ready for game one of the NBA playoffs. That's how unserious I think that this is. Maybe they like to get into the 3 seed rather than the 2 seed. But regardless, I don't think the Bucks are in trouble whatsoever. They're 4-0 against the spread versus the best team in the league, than the Boston Celtics this year. And I'm still somewhat scared that they could meet up with the Celtics and give them a run for their money in the Eastern Conference Finals. So I don't think there's no concern whatsoever.
Matt, how do you feel about this? And also anything to like the Bucks maybe trying to avoid like an early meeting with Philly?
No, I don't think so because, there's just as good a chance that they face the Sixers in the 3-6, or if they were to fall to or they could maybe get Miami. Like there are not good options. And honestly, Indiana's given them problems. I think it's there are no good options for the Bucks right now. Like there's not like a good outcome for Milwaukee with how they played lately. I'm a little bit more worried than Jay. Calf strains, the average is about 17 days. Now that's regular season, so you can definitely get back sooner. Problem is that you're compensating with a number of things, as you always are with leg injuries, including, your Achilles. And that tends to make everybody a little bit nervous. You got to be real careful that you don't wind up compensating for that calf strain if you're trying to play through it by trying to play through it and then wind up hurting your Achilles. That's obviously a nightmare. Plus, it's one of those injuries, much like hamstrings and quads, where you just kind of got to rest it. And if you try and play on it, it'll re-aggravate it, and then you're in and out and in and out, and that's a problem. So the Bucks may be without Giannis for the start of the first round, and I don't necessarily think that any of these teams, whether it's the Sixers, whether it's the Heat, or whether it's the Pacers, I don't think any of those are a good option. Now, if they were to fall to 3 and maybe get, I don't know, the Magic, even the Cavs, with how the Cavs have played lately, maybe not so bad. But I have a little bit of concern here about the Giannis situation. There is a counter argument to be made, not only with what Jay said, but also the Bucks' performance against great teams has been much better than it has been against the rank and file average and sub-average NBA teams. But there's enough here for me to like move them from DEFCON 4, which they were at, to maybe down to DEFCON 3 in terms of absolute panic mode. We're not the 2. If we're at
Okay.
2, then yeah, we're gonna need to start really heading to the bunkers, but not that bad yet.
This playoff chase has just gotten so messy. But in other news, Trae Young on the brink of coming back from a finger injury he had back in February. The Hawks have clinched a play-in berth. Matt, should we be scared at all that they could shack a team in the first round?
No! What? No! Look, I saw the Hawks last Saturday in Denver. I have seen so many teams come through there. It's an altitude, end of the season, and you're just like, I just want to go home. I have never seen a team so dispirited. Never once have I seen a team with less professional spirit than the Atlanta Hawks play with last weekend. Now, look, they've played slightly better since Trae's been out. So the problem is, like, him coming back doesn't necessarily help them. They're without Onyeka Okongwu. They can't defend. All of their players are constantly out of position. They can't defend. They have trouble scoring consistently. They have issues. They had a great opportunity last night to maybe sneak into the 9 spot, which is way more likely to get into the playoffs. By the way, 10 seeds, 0-6 so far in the play-in tournament versus the Heat. That's a division team. Nope, can't get it done, losing overtime. But they are just constantly finding ways to lose. Trae makes them better from a talent perspective, but I'm okay if you want to say that Trae doesn't make them worse. Fine. But you can't look at how they've played with Trae Young the last 3 seasons and think that how they collectively form around him is better. This team makes me sad, and I want them to go away. So no, I do not think they're going to shock the world in the first round.
They make you sad, but that reaction just made me happy, I have to say. Jay, how do you feel about Trae?
Well, I have a lot of thoughts about Trae Young. I just want to say that no team is as bad as you've seen them, and no team is as
Sure.
good as you've seen them as well. That's something that I'd like to say. But I mean, I think the Hawks actually have a ton of upside. It's not with Trae Young though. Like, who is this guy, man? Why? I feel like they tried to sit him for the rest of the season to see what they had in DeJounte Murray and how the team will go with him at the helm, with him being the captain of the team. And they were really good. They were much better offensively and defensively as well with DeJounte Murray running the team. He's had triple doubles. I mean, they are a lot happier out there. They're smiling. They actually play as a team. I don't think Trae Young is a winning basketball player. I don't think that he should be on the Atlanta Hawks anymore. I think that they should sit him down for the rest of the season. So I actually do think that they have an outside chance of making a few surprises, of possibly getting out of the play-in tournament if they don't play Trae Young. And always, when you're bringing back a star player like that, he just kind of seems to mess things up with how the team has been playing without him. But if there was any player that I would not want to see come back to the team, that would be Trae Young. Get this guy out of Atlanta, in my opinion.
Jay, is a better spot for Trae Young this summer at San Antonio with Wembanyama or in LA with LeBron and AD?
I would say San Antonio for sure.
Who?
Same. I just
sure.
can't. I can't. You're getting too far ahead of me, Matt. I can't wrap my head around all this. But some fighting words from you guys about Trae Young and the Hawks. Jay, along those same lines, how do you feel about Karl Anthony Towns? He's coming back, but likely not in time for the showdown with Denver tonight, probably this weekend.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, I don't feel like that they should rush him back. Obviously, you don't want him to re-aggravate the meniscus injury, something with the knee that has a lot of moving parts over there. And like I say, another thing, he's not the level of Trae Young, like has the ball in his hands a lot, but the Wolves have got into a groove with starting Naz Reid and not having Karl Anthony Towns out there. So whenever he does come back, I do think that he should come off the bench. But like I say, sometimes these superstar players come back, especially the ones that demand the ball a lot and have the ball in their hand and want to take their shot. They need their shots. Cat needs his shots. So I feel like it could somewhat disrupt the groove that the Wolves have been in as well. I really feel like Naz Reid has really found his way at that starting 4 position. So let's see. I'd be really interested to see what happens when Cat comes back.
Yeah, same. Okay, as for the game itself tonight between the Wolves and Nuggets, Matt, can you just walk us through the playoff implications that could arise?
Yeah, they're huge, Maria. This is effectively for the 1 seed. Denver has San Antonio and Memphis to close the season. The Wolves have tiebreaker over Denver. So if the Wolves win this, the Nuggets are much more likely to finish 3rd than they are 1st. It's going to take an absolute miracle for them to get back into the 1 seed if they lose this. On the other hand, for Denver, if they do win this game, they'll have control of, we've used this phrase, control of destiny for the 1 seed, which means Denver goes 3-0, they're the 1 seed. If they win tonight, win the following 2 games, they'll finish with a 1-game lead over the Wolves, and they'll get the 1 seed to have home court throughout the playoffs. What's interesting here is I think it's a little bit of a debate for Denver. If they win this game, they're kind of pot committed. They need to play starters versus San Antonio and Memphis to close the season. They can win with the bench, but you can't really risk it because you already burned the equity in this game trying to win the 1 seed. You can't go back and then be like, well, now we'll leave it up to chance with our bench. You can't really do that. So for a team that I really honestly think could use the rest, losing tonight would not be the worst outcome for the Denver Nuggets. Minnesota, I think, on the other hand, really wants home court. They are really pushing for it, in part because they know that they're going to beat Denver. They've got to have home court. They know they can't go for a game 1 and a game 7 in altitude. So I expect a top-notch effort from Minnesota tonight. No Towns tonight, but I do expect this to be a high-level game for both teams. We'll see who plays for Denver. Aaron Gordon missed last night. Jamal Murray just returned from injury and is on back-to-back. I would be a little surprised, honestly, if the Denver Nuggets didn't go full bore, given what they've kind of done so far. But it's going to be really interesting to see how both teams approach this game with so much on the line, but also the need to get rest before the playoffs begin.
Yeah, I agree with what you said about Minnesota just needing this and wanting it more, wanting to show that they can do it. Like I said, though, total mess. Everything's just a total mess. We'll get you out of here with a pick for tonight. So, Jay, what's your play?
Yeah, I'm hoping that this game isn't a mess, but I'm going to go with Cavs team total over 115.5. I believe it's at 116.5 now. I still like it as well. I think the Cavs bust out here with an offensive explosion here. And I have like a little prescription pad as well. And what I prescribe for the Cavs is a confidence boosting win versus the Memphis Grizzlies here tonight. It's exactly what they needed. They're coming back coming back home off of a 5-game road trip. They played some really tough defensive teams as well. The one team that they played that wasn't a tough defensive team, the Utah Jazz, they went out there and smoked them and put up 120 plus points. I think that's exactly what they do here tonight. So I'm rocking with the Cavs here to bust out offensively, get ready for the playoffs, and get their offense well-rounded, ready for the playoffs here. So give me Cavs team total over 115.5, 116.5.
I like it. Cavs are 5th in the East right now, by the way, same record as the Magic, who are in 4th. Jay, Matt, thank you.